sucker. You are a sucker. You're not a hero. You are a shameful citizen.
If the Mother Wolf and David episode of Catfish level of crazy is here, then this one is right here. Let's get into the mess. So Max is not in this episode. It's from one of the earlier seasons, so Max was still a co-host, but he's not in this episode. So the guest host is none other than himself, Mr. Machine Gun Kelly. Lord have mercy, when this episode aired, I loved him. I was obsessed with him. I had the biggest crush on him. But now, not so much now. All of this is too much for me. It's so cute. Neve is actually really excited to work with him, and MGK says right off rip,
I'm rooting for love.
Wow, already?
Already.
Rooting for love.
Yeah.
Sir, do you know how this show goes? But we then are introduced to the couple who we are helping on the show. It is Hundra and Emily, and they met on Facebook, and despite literally living so close to each other, because Hundra is in Philly and Emily is in New York, they've never met. They've been together for 9 months. Hundra was actually the one to reach out to Emily when she said she was feeling, quote, gay for a day.
Wow.
I was feeling gay for a day, so I'm like, hey, let me just be gay for a day.
She says that they have tried to meet up on multiple occasions and it never worked out. Emily always gave her the runaround. Something came up, she had a family emergency, all of the catfish excuses, and she even actually told Hundra that one time she couldn't make it because her car had broken down. So Hundra, being the nice, kind, sweet soul that she is, sent Emily money to fix the car, but Emily never showed up.
So,
No.
Y'all, I just need y'all to stop sending money to your situationships. Hundra then goes on to admit that reaching out to Catfish for help is a really risky move because she comes from a super strict Haitian background where homosexuality is not tolerated, and she runs the risk of actually being disowned because she has yet to come out to her family. Now this I really understand and I really relate to because I am from a traditional Caribbean background as well, and anyone who had tried to come out, they were essentially pushed back into the closet. So I definitely understand why this is really heavy for her, and it does seem kind of iconic that this little Catfish episode will be her way of coming out. So they hop on a call and Neve tells her just that. He says that it's super brave of her to let Catfish help her because this is essentially her coming out, and MGK thanks her for letting them be a part of this process, which
I know something you don't.
she admits that she's super nervous, but absolutely needs to do it. I feel like anytime I say super or about, I sound real Canadian. She says that she wants other Haitian kids to know that it's more than okay to be gay. It's just a normal thing. It's no big deal. She says that Emily has to be the person in the pictures, otherwise she doesn't want her. MGK very much gets the feeling that Hundra is not fully comfortable in her sexuality.
I think that she's gay, but not comfortable saying
He
it.
does some serious foreshadowing throughout this episode, but especially this sentiment.
Pretty interesting.
We're all like strapped
Yeah.
up for the ride that we don't know where it's going.
So keep that in mind. They then head over to Hundra's house, and Mr. Kelly says that she lives in the hood. And Neve is like, no, she doesn't. No, it's not. And MGK says he knows the hood when he sees it. And sir, why would you say that? Why would you say that? That's so unnecessary, but also kind of hilarious, but also unnecessary. So when they pull up, Hundra's actually flirting with MGK. Talking about, oh, you're so tall. And she hugs him tighter and longer than she does Neve. Which, why would you do Neve like that? Neve's fine as hell. They then go on to get some more details about her relationship.
and then over the course of the 9 months, she's texted me from 5 different numbers.
Wow.
5?
5. She says that she only has 3 pictures of her to show them. There were more on her Facebook, but she recently deactivated her account. There are red flags all over this story. But if I tell someone I'm contacting Catfish and they then go delete the only social media page I have of them, I won't need to contact Catfish anymore because I have all the answers that I need. But I would never end up on Catfish. This is just hypothetically speaking if I did. So it is now time for them to start their investigation. They start by searching the current phone number Hundra is using for Emily, and right away it comes back linked to someone named Geralyn. They find Geralyn's Facebook and they go and they start searching, and they find out that she is a mask presenting lesbian and has a picture where she's making out with a girl.
Oh, wait a second. This is where it might get complicated because it looks like she might have
Someone,
a
a girlfriend. Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
so here she is making out with a girl.
The girl she's making out with is Emily. Emily's real name is Melanie, and she also lives in Philly. And the pair conclude Geralyn is in a relationship with Melanie. So it seems like Geralyn is using Melanie's pictures to catfish as Emily, but the dynamic duo doesn't understand why. Like, it doesn't make sense. Something's not adding up.
Why would Geralyn
pimp photos of her girl out. Is Melanie in on the whole thing?
MGK says maybe it's all a game.
I know something you don't. I know something you will never know.
Now, I do have to say, the first time I watched this episode, I was like, this all happened too easy. Like, it happened too quickly. Usually they have to do some more digging, they have to do a lot more searching, but here, everything was linked right away. It just seems so perfect and clean cut, and that should have been a red flag in my mind. They then head back to Hundra's house to tell her what they found, and she seems genuinely devastated. Like, she literally asks if she can go to the bathroom, and she's still wearing her mic while she goes up there, so you can hear her sobbing. When she comes back down, she tells the boys that she's not interested in Geralyn.
I'm not attracted to girls that dress like men.
MGK's face is me, cause girl, why would you say that? They then decide to message Melanie on Facebook and ask her to give Neve a call. Just as our dynamic duo gets in the car, they start driving away, Melanie calls Neve. And they ask her if she's comfortable meeting up the next day, and she says, of course. So the next day they meet up at a coffee shop. Hundra is so geeked to see Melanie, and MGK, he looks genuinely happy to see them together, even though it's like a fucked up situation. You could tell he was just happy to be there, and he really genuinely was rooting for love. Melanie tells them that Geralyn is her ex-girlfriend. So basically what had happened was, and stick with me here, this is gonna be confusing, stick with me. Melanie and Geralyn, they were besties, okay? They were locked in, they were good friends for a long time, but Melanie was actually in a relationship with the love of her life. So the love of her life was in the army, she gets deployed, so they break up. They're no longer together. Then, Geralyn was Melanie's rebound. And then when the love of her life came back into the picture, she dropped Geralyn like I dropped my food when seagulls come and attack me at the beach. But she claims that it wasn't a nasty breakup.
It wasn't like an ugly, nasty breakup, was it?
No, I literally just told her how it was. She took it pretty well.
I don't see how that situation could end in any way that isn't nasty. They then decide to confront Geralyn, but makes Melanie call because they know that if she calls, then she'll pick up. They're right. Geralyn picks up after a couple rings, and when Melanie asks her, do you know who Hundra is? She laughs.
But I'm with Catfish. You know Hundra? This is funny.
Then she says that she doesn't want to talk about everything over the phone, so she asks the crew to go to her house. They agree, but at this point, things are still not adding up. Things are still not making sense. So they get to the house, and like always, Neve walks right up to the door, starts banging on it like he's the police. Geralyn comes out, and Hundra looks disgusted. Okay, like she can't believe what she's seeing with her eyes. But she also has this weird smile on her face. This is creepy. It's giving serial killer-esque, but we move. She immediately tells MGK once again that Geralyn's a stud, so she's not her type. And it's like, girl, once again, who asked? Who asked you that? Geralyn then starts to explain everything from her side. She says that it was a game to her. She did it only to try and get Melanie mad, because we then find out that Melanie and Geralyn were engaged, and she has Melanie's name tatted on the back of her neck.
What's that?
Melanie.
Oh.
Yep.
Wait, let me see that. We're talking about the same Melanie here?
Yep.
Now, not to be toxic or anything, but who's trying to get my name tatted on them? Then Hundra goes on to spew some really problematic rhetoric. She says, I thought it would be a turn on for gay girls to convert straight girls into being gay.
I converted not just a regular black girl, but a Haitian girl into becoming gay.
Girl, what? What? MGK and Neve look confused as hell, and all you can hear are literal crickets. Like, you can't even hear nobody breathing. Neve then says,
You're making an assumption.
Yeah.
right, he's trying to check her, but also it seemed like he was hesitant to confront her because he's not a part of any of the communities she was speaking on, but he still did what he could. And just when you're like, oh my god, that must be it, this raggedy girl just won't quit. She then says that she was telling Emily that she loved her, how bad she wanted her, but then comes to meet this.
I meet this.
Girl, be so fucking for real, please. Be so fucking for real. Obviously, it's not Team Catfish. I'm rarely ever Team Catfish. All day, every day, team victim of the catfish. But to go out of your way to insult them when you literally look like this is ridiculous to me. It's comical to me. Geralyn then confesses that she does in fact have feelings for Hundra and she does not want to lose her. Hundra said fuck all that. She ignores that, okay? And then she goes on to insinuate that Geralyn just wanted to turn her out and adds that she used her for money. MGK then steps in.
He actually started liking you, and I don't think it's some deep, crazy scheme going on.
Before she can say anything else out of pocket, Neve is like, we're calling it a day. We're ending today. We'll see you tomorrow. As they're walking away, Hundra says that
I went looking for a lipstick lesbian and I got butch.
it's giving complete internalized homophobia and self-hatred. Neve and Mr. Kelly, they look shocked. But Kelly tells her she's being harsh and ignorant, which she is, period. I understand being upset. Your frustrations are valid, but she's mad at the wrong thing. She's not mad about how she got played. She's mad that she doesn't like how Geralyn looks. Now, plot twist, okay? The next morning, Geralyn messages Neve and says that she wants to meet up with them, but without Hundra, because she has things to tell them. When they get there, she says that she's finally going to be honest.
I don't know Hundra.
You don't know Hundra?
No. Obviously, she contacted the show.
Right.
But it's just like, it's not true.
But she only went along with the lie because Melanie asked her to. She says that her and Hundra have only been talking for 4 weeks and it was all fake. Now, this shows the intense level of planning that went on to this deception, because when people apply to the show, they turn in their message threads or access to their accounts, which would give the crew access to their messages, just trying to make sure that the story is legitimate, that what they're saying is factual and accurate. So Hundra knew this, and she made sure that they would have something to give to producers. Geralyn said that she did not at all like the way Hundra was making her out to seem like a predatory masked lesbian, so she had to come clean. She said, if you're gonna try and air me out, I'm gonna air you out. At this point, we're all fucking confused, because first of all, why would you do this? But also, why would you do this for someone you don't even know? Machine Gun Kelly is big mad, like he's real mad. And this is when we find out that he missed spending Father's Day with his young daughter to film this episode.
I could be with my daughter on Father's Day right now.
This is when we get the first of many iconic lines to come from him, where he says,
I'm about to go crazy on this little woman, man.
it's so unserious. Hundra and Melanie then pull up, not knowing that everybody already knows the truth. Melanie fake confronts Geralyn.
Really? So you just steal pictures and portray and talk to people? I'm talking to you.
I can hear you.
So speak, like.
Crickets, bitch. Like, no one's falling for it. No one's falling for it. And she seems confused why no one's falling for it. She really thinks she's eating up the role. She thinks she deserves an Oscar. MGK then tells them straight up, like, Geralyn spilled the beans. We know you're playing us. So immediately you would think that Hundra would be really remorseful, really apologetic, like expressing how sorry she is for all this mess she caused and wasting everyone's time, right? Wrong.
But it was still something that needed to be done, like, as far as me coming out. I wanted the world to know that I was gay.
Neva's like, I'm sorry, who are you? Why does the world care if you're gay? From this, as she's clearly setting a bad example. She's confused. She said, how am I setting a bad example? Girl, what? I really would only wish 100 levels of Delulu on my worst enemy and nobody else. You know who you are. Kelly then tells her,
Because you lied. And you also speak on gays like they have a disease.
Butch and like gay for a day.
he's eating her up. Hundra then says that she can call them whatever name she wants because she's gay too. Girl, I don't think that's how that works. I don't think that's how that works at all. Neve then acknowledges that her desire to liberate gay Haitian women is beautiful, but this is the worst way she could have done it, and he calls her selfish, because she is. Hundra then storms off, and MGK, our mans, he goes after her.
Okay, well, this is done.
Sucker, you are a sucker.
While Neve is confronting Melanie and Geralyn. Neve is trying to figure out why they would do this. Melanie says that Hundra is her friend and she was trying to help her. Neve looks at her like, girl, be for real, because I know you and Hundra are not friends. What do y'all have in common? This is when we get the most iconic set of lines from Mr. Kelly himself. Thank you for wasting my time.
I regret all of it.
You are not a hero.
You are a shameful citizen. And she runs away from her problems. What a coward, dude. You're a coward, man.
You are a shameful citizen. It's just, It does something to my brain. It's just chef's kiss. It's such a good line. I'm gonna start saying this whenever someone disappoints me. He was real respectful in his reads. He could have said a lot worse, but it's very clear that he was just trying to control his anger, especially considering this whole mess of a lie of a situation made him miss quality time with his daughter. Our dynamic duo then leaves. But shortly after that, when Neve is back at the hotel, Hundra texts him to say she's outside, she wants to talk to him, but only him. And this part made me laugh. She's real scared of Mr. Kelly, as she should be, because he would have ate her up some more. She acts remorseful right as Neve walks up to the car and is like, how are you? She's like, I'm not doing good. But then she gets out the car and the energy completely switches up.
Well, me personally, I'm not gonna apologize for anything. I'm really not.
Neve looks shocked, but he's also confused. Like, why would you come here just to say the same things that you already said? Neve says that there's so many other better ways that she could have come out. He agrees that gay representation is important, but this episode is not going to get that because the focus is only on the mess that she created and all the lies that she told. He tells her it would be real smart to talk to her family and friends before the episode airs so they are not blindsided. And before she could say anything else stupid, he shakes her hand and heads inside. 2 months later, the little update, they talk to Geralyn and Melanie, and they say that they learned their lesson, and they also say that they haven't spoken to Hundra since they filmed, which shows her intentions were never pure. Which, duh, if someone's asking you to lie to get on reality TV, how are you thinking their intentions are pure from the start? But we don't care about them. They talk to Hundra, and child, it's just a mess. MGK is of course still pissed. Hundra tells them that her friends know that she's gay, but her family still has no clue. To me, respectfully, it sounds like she's just scared to tell her family and she's waiting for the show to air so someone else can do it for her, or they'll just see it on their own and she won't have to directly say anything to them. Which I completely understand, being afraid to come out to your family, especially if they come from a super traditional and somewhat homophobic background. I get it, and that's very valid. Coming out can be real scary, and I don't want to downplay that reality. It's just, girl, all of this was so unnecessary. She then says she kind of regrets the way that she went about everything, but not really. She doesn't believe she wasted anyone's time, and they all got something out of it. MGK's looking around like, who's she talking about? Who's she talking about? Who got something out of this besides her?
You're still a rapper that's about to be on a television show because of whatever I came up with.
Oh,
So
don't.
regardless,
Delusional. This woman is delusional. Because I'm sure there were other couples in Philly that they could have helped. And maybe MGK would have gotten his chance at seeing love all the way through on Catfish, but instead all he got was this hot mess and got angry. Neve tells her that this would have been the perfect time to apologize, express remorse, especially because of how she represented and disrespected her respective communities, but she's having none of it.
She hasn't changed much.
No comment.
This episode was a mess. The first time I saw it, I was really confused because I couldn't understand why she would do all of this just to come out. I still don't understand why she wasn't apologetic, why she didn't feel remorseful. It just gave very self-centered, which is really unfortunate. And I hope that she's doing well, and I hope that her family is accepting of her coming out. Obviously not accepting of the mess that she did and everything that went down on the show, but accepting of her sexuality, because I don't think that that should be something that someone's judged off of. There's a lot of other things to judge her off of. She doesn't seem like a great person. And also, me personally, Melanie is back with the ex, right? Remember the whole story? So I personally would not be okay with my ex hanging out with their ex-fiance. That's weird to me. But it doesn't make sense why Melanie agreed to go along with it. Maybe she wanted to get on TV too. But me personally, if I wanted to get on TV, I'm not trying to be on TV for Catfish. It's embarrassing to be on Catfish. But if you like the video, then make sure to like the video and subscribe, because I have other Catfish reviews coming up. If there's a specific episode you want to see me do, then make sure to leave it in the comments and I will add it to my list. I really am enjoying doing these, and so another one will be up next week.